Right now on Good Morning America First Look, a top U.S. official says tremendous progress has been made towards a peace deal for Ukraine. But is it a wish list for Vladimir Putin? An outage at one of the busiest airports in the country causing holiday travel trouble, and now worries about the weather. Breaking overnight, the woman responsible for stabbing her then 12-year-old classmate more than a dozen times to please a fictional character known as Slender Man is captured after escaping from custody, where police tracked her down. Growing fallout from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's shocking announcement that she's resigning after splitting with President Trump, what she's now ruling out in the future. The grandparents of a teenager found dead on a cruise ship speak exclusively about the mystery surrounding her death and what she told them the night before her body was found. The near disaster during this horse race, an ambulance driving the wrong way on the track. The Cowboys' historic comeback win over the Eagles and the coach's big pep talk after the game. And later, what's next for the judge in big trouble after impersonating Elvis on the bench?
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Rena Roy. We begin with major developments concerning two global hotspots.
The highest-ranking officer in the U.S. military is visiting the Caribbean today amid rising tensions with Venezuela. Meanwhile, officials are describing a major new step toward a peace deal in Ukraine. But critics say the proposal is a wish list for Vladimir Putin. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Sophie, good morning. The U.S. and Ukraine say they now have an updated framework for peace, but many questions remain, including the potential timeline for a deal. This morning, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says tremendous progress has been made towards a peace deal that could end Ukraine's nearly 4-year war with Russia.
There's still some work to be done, but we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain.
The comments followed talks in Geneva with Ukrainian officials aimed at revising a 28-point peace plan offered by the U.S., a plan that would have handed over more Ukrainian territory to Russia and reduced the size of Ukraine's military in half, while offering Ukraine some security guarantees.
What the president has put out here is a plan that is very favorable to Russia.
I think President Trump approaches this as a realist. And the truth of the matter is, and a lot of people won't say it, is the Ukrainians have been losing for a long time.
President Trump had reportedly threatened to cut off all U.S. military support and intelligence sharing unless Ukraine agreed to a deal. The White House had also set a Thursday deadline for a deal, but now officials say they need more time.
Despite originally playing hardball, the U.S. now saying the deadline and the demands can slip a little. The question is whether Russia would accept any of these changes.
Meanwhile, as the talks play out, the Trump administration is confronting a foreign policy challenge closer to home in Venezuela. The top U.S. military officer, General Dan Kane, is visiting American forces in Puerto Rico today. The U.S. has boosted its military presence in the Caribbean, increasing pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, whom the Trump administration accuses of drug trafficking, allegations Maduro denies. The U.S. has launched at least 20 strikes on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean Sea, killing more than 80 people, many of them from Venezuela. But the U.S. has offered no public evidence to prove they were smuggling drugs.
Because I'm skeptical of what they're doing. They don't brief me or the General Senate at all.
The Trump administration is now reportedly considering dropping leaflets over Venezuela's capital to further pressure the Maduro regime. And President Trump has not ruled out putting U.S. troops on the ground in Venezuela. As for that peace proposal in Ukraine, we still don't know what changes have been made to the original plan, but talks resume today. Rena.
All right, Nicole, thanks so much. Officials at New York's JFK Airport say things are back to normal after a computer outage at one terminal created long lines just as holiday travel ramps up. This is expected to be the busiest Thanksgiving travel period in 15 years. The weather not helping. A cross-country storm swept through the southwest and into western Texas. It is now moving east. By tomorrow and Wednesday, most of the eastern U.S. will see rain with snow near the Great Lakes. We'll check your full forecast in a few moments.
Breaking overnight, the woman responsible for stabbing her then 12-year-old classmate to please a fictional character known as Slender Man has been captured after escaping custody. Here's ABC's Alison Kosik.
This morning, the search now over for 22-year-old Morgan Geyser, the woman at the center of the Slender Man stabbing case. Geyser was taken into custody in Illinois after police in Madison, Wisconsin say she cut off her ankle monitoring bracelet and escaped from a group home Saturday night. Police overnight confirming she was found at a truck stop 25 miles south of Chicago with another person who was also detained. Her lawyer made this plea while she was on the run.
Do not continue to remain on the run like this. It is not in your best interest to handle this matter that way.
Back in 2014, Geyser and another girl, Anissa Wire, both 12 at the time, lured their classmate Peyton Leitner into the woods, where Geyser stabbed Leitner 19 times to impress a faceless, fictional online character known as Slender Man. Leitner survived the attack, and Geyser pleaded guilty, saying this in court in 2018.
Ms. Geyser, would you like to say anything?
I just want to let Bella and her family know I'm sorry. I never meant this to happen.
She was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect and was sentenced to up to 40 years in a psychiatric institution. But earlier this year, over the objection of prosecutors, a judge cleared the way for her supervised release. Prosecutors claimed Geyser had, quote, violent communication with a man outside the facility and had read a book with themes of sexual sadism and murder. But 3 psychologists testified she was ready for the move. Leitner told our David Muir this in 2019.
I still sleep with like a broken pair of scissors underneath the pillow next to me because just in case.
We're expecting to learn more today about the person Geyser was with when she was detained last night and what happens next for her. Sophie, Rena?
All right, Alison, thank you for that. The head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, is due in court today to face charges in a gambling scandal. He's expected to plead not guilty to rigging poker games. Billups is accused of luring high rollers to poker tables equipped with X-ray technology and backed by the mob. 30 others also face arraignment in the case.
Now to politics and the growing fallout from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's shocking announcement, one of the faces of MAGA resigning her post.
Days after announcing she's quitting Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene is making it clear she does not have her sights set on the White House. Greene posting, "I'm not running for president and never said I wanted to," adding, "I'm not the kind of person who is willing to make the deals that must be made." Greene's sudden decision to step down has sparked debate about what comes next for the Georgia Republican, after the very public breakdown in her MAGA alliance with President Trump, the rift appearing to stem from their disagreement over the Epstein files.
Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States.
But we're learning their conflict began months ago. Sources say Greene has been fuming ever since Trump seemingly signaled he would not support her if she ran for the Senate or for governor. Insiders say Greene saw that as a betrayal. Despite other infighting in the party, President Trump yesterday insisting the Republican Party has never been so united as it is right now, claiming there is great spirit and cohesion.
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
And now, the president appearing to form an unlikely alliance with New York's newly elected Democratic Socialist Mayor Zohran Mamdani. The pair meeting in the Oval Office Friday, leading to this viral moment.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Yesterday, Mamdani was asked if he still believes, as he claimed during his campaign, that President Trump is a fascist.
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe. I'm not coming into the Oval Office to make a point or make a stand. I'm coming in there to deliver for New Yorkers.
For now, Mamdani says he's more focused on helping New York than trading criticisms with Trump.
All right, time now for your Monday weather.
Good morning. We begin the busy holiday travel week with an elevated flash flood threat. Northern Texas, including the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, all the way into parts of Arkansas and northern Louisiana. It's going to be a messy day during the day today with heavy thunderstorms dropping copious amounts of rainfall. That moves off to the east into parts of Mississippi and Alabama by early Tuesday morning. Elsewhere across the country, if you're getting in some early holiday travel, pretty nice across the East Coast. 50 in New York City, 82 in Fort Lauderdale. Some rain and snow moving into the Pacific Northwest. Meteorologist Jeff Smith, ABC News.
Coming up, a piece of chewing gum that's 10,000 years old.
Wow, but first, the grandparents of a teenager found dead under her bed on a cruise ship speak exclusively about the mystery surrounding this case and the stepbrother questioned by the FBI.
And later, the coach of the Cowboys describes their incredible comeback against the Eagles.
This is America. Don't got you slipping up. Look how I'm living up.
Singer and actor Donald Glover has revealed he suffered a stroke, forcing him to cancel his tour. The 42-year-old told fans he was diagnosed after severe head pain. He also had 2 surgeries for a heart condition.
Now to the teenager found dead on a cruise ship. Her grandparents are shedding new light on this growing mystery.
For the first time, the grandparents of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, who died on a Carnival cruise ship this month, are speaking publicly about her death, talking to Good Morning America.
I just screamed. I couldn't stop screaming. The FBI contacted my son and family and told us her cause of death was asphyxiation.
The family saying it's a strong possibility the asphyxiation was caused by a bar hold.
You take the elbow like this. They said when they took her body to the medical examiner's office, it was in perfect condition.
Barbara and Jeffrey Kepner were on the Caribbean cruise with their son, his wife, and their grandkids. They say Anna was staying with her brother and her stepbrother in the same room.
Do you remember the last time that you saw Anna?
We had dinner. Anna wasn't feeling well. She just said, Mima, I think I'm going to go back to my room for a little bit. And she must have felt better because she got dressed up and she came down. We were playing in the casino.
The next morning, they say Anna's body was found by a cleaner in her room, concealed under the bed. The grandparents say they were told her body showed no signs of assault or drugs or alcohol in her system. In an unrelated custody dispute, a family member said Anna's stepbrother, who's a minor, is a suspect in Anna's death.
I heard him, in his own words, say he does not remember what happened.
They say Anna and her stepbrother were close, like brother and sister.
Now, Anna's stepbrother has not been arrested or charged with a crime. Later on Good Morning America, photos from the ship and the grandparents discuss what comes next in the case.
Turning to a remarkable discovery by scientists in Europe, they found a sort of chewing gum that dates back to the Stone Age. Now, a small piece of birch tar, which comes from the bark of a birch tree, was found to be 10,000 years old. It has teeth marks and traces of saliva. DNA indicates the gum was likely chewed by a girl with brown hair and brown eyes.
Coming up, John F. Kennedy's granddaughter, just 35 years old, reveals she has terminal cancer, what we're learning about her case.
Also ahead, a possible new legal battle involving Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend. Back now with more controversy over UNC football coach Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend. Jordan Hudson is now threatening to sue podcaster Pablo Torre. Torre reported she was banned from UNC facilities, a claim the school has denied.
2 University of Alabama Birmingham football players are in stable condition after the school says they were stabbed before Saturday's game. Police have not named a suspect, but a teammate of the victims is in custody, facing attempted murder charges. The victims were not publicly named. A near disaster during this horse race in Louisiana. 8 riders narrowly avoided being hit by an ambulance driving the wrong way around the track. Ambulances usually follow races in case jockeys are hurt.
We turn now to a young member of the Kennedy family revealing her personal health battle.
This morning, an outpouring of support for John F. Kennedy's granddaughter, Tatiana Schlossberg, after the 35-year-old revealed she has less than a year to live. Schlossberg penning an essay for The New Yorker about her battle with acute myeloid leukemia with a mutation, an uncurable kind of blood cancer usually seen in older patients.
This mutation is a much more aggressive form of AML. It's much more difficult to treat.
Schlossberg revealing doctors found the cancer just days after she gave birth to her now 1-year-old daughter, saying, "I could not believe they were talking about me. I had swum a mile in the pool the day before, 9 months pregnant. I wasn't sick. I didn't feel sick. I was actually one of the healthiest people I knew." She started a treatment plan, which included clinical trials, a bone marrow transplant, and multiple rounds of chemo. Schlossberg saying her doctor scoured every inch of the earth for more treatments for me. He knows I didn't want to die, and he is trying to stop it. But after a year of fighting, doctors are out of options. Schlossberg, who says she feels cheated by the prognosis, is now calling out her cousin, Health Secretary RFK Jr., claiming he's gutting cancer research. Schlossberg saying, "I watched as Bobby cut nearly $500 million for research into mRNA vaccines, technology that could be used against certain cancers," she wrote. Slashed billions in funding from the National Institutes of Health, the world's largest sponsor of medical research. While many of RFK's cuts have now been reversed, more than 2,600 grants were canceled or reduced because of what Kennedy claims was ineffective or risky research. In the meantime, Schlossberg says she's trying to focus on her 2 children during whatever time she is left.
She thanked the doctors and nurses along with her siblings who have helped take care of her kids.
Coming up, Ariana Grande's new message to Wicked fans.
Plus, what's next for the judge in big trouble after impersonating Elvis on the bench?
All right, time now to check the pulse. We begin with the Cowboys' epic comeback against the Eagles.
Yeah, they were down 21-0. They had only a 3% chance of coming back before tying the score at 21 and winning the game on a field goal as time expired. Their coach was fired up in the locker room after the game.
Did we spot him 21 points? Yeah. But what about, hey, can you win the game in 3 points? No. What about that?
After the Eagles lost, the Rams crushed the Bucs 34-7 to take the top spot in the NFC. Next, a record-shattering weekend for the new Wicked movie.
Yeah, get this. Wicked for Good made $150 million at the domestic box office this weekend, $226 million worldwide, the biggest debut ever for a Broadway adaptation. Star Ariana Grande shared an emotional farewell letter. She described playing the role of Glinda as a transformative experience, and she wrote about her deep connection with fans.
Meanwhile, the man who charged at and grabbed her at the movie premiere in Singapore has been deported after serving 9 days in jail. He's now banned from that country. Next, a Missouri judge who routinely wore an Elvis wig in his courtroom has agreed to resign.
Judge Matthew Thornhill quoted Elvis lyrics and even played the singer's music from the bench. He says he wanted to add levity to relax those in his courtroom, but officials found he failed to maintain order and decorum. A higher court will now decide the details surrounding his resignation, including his unpaid leave. And finally, Mickey Mouse goes to Vegas.
And he hit the jackpot, appearing to conduct the famous fountains at the Bellagio. It was all part of a show celebrating the weekend at Formula One car racing through the streets of Las Vegas.
Never a dull moment in Vegas, man, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, the person critically injured after being set on fire on a train in Chicago has been identified as a 26-year-old woman. U.S. Transportation Secretary says the suspect has more than 70 prior arrests. He accuses the city of allowing repeat offenders to roam the streets.
Israel says it killed a top commander for the militant group Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Israeli airstrike in Beirut was the first in that city since June.
U.S. and Ukrainian officials resumed talks today on a plan to end the war with Russia. Progress was reported yesterday, but few details were released. Some allies say the initial plan gives too much to Russia.
A gold pocket watch recovered from the Titanic has sold at auction for $2.3 million. Its owner was the co-owner of Macy's, who drowned alongside his wife.
Today's weather, rain and snow from the Pacific Northwest into the Rockies, and flash flooding with possible tornadoes in the southern plains.
And finally, fundraising one walk at a time.
But they're not on their feet. Here's Danny New.
Young gymnasts walking for a cause on their hands.
To date, we've walked over 35 miles on our hands.
Karen Freiberger and Handstand Walk for Kids have raised more than $1 million for pediatric cancer research during the past 5 years, with these handstand walks being held at gyms across the country. Over the weekend in Brooklyn, this former college gymnast even went upside down herself as her team held their final event of the year.
It's a really big community effort to really try to change the outcomes for kids and support families in some of their darkest moments.
Karen and her 7-year-old daughter, Eloise, certainly know about those dark moments.
This way?
When Eloise was 2, she was diagnosed with a form of kidney cancer and underwent multiple surgeries and rounds of chemo.
This will be coming up 5 years cancer-free, and we're so excited to celebrate the milestone.
Wow, look at that smile.
Along the way, they've gotten big-time help from dedicated high school gymnasts like Galena here, who's now in college.
I believe that cancer shouldn't take over children's lives, and this is why we advocate.
Absolutely stunning.
And former national champion at UCLA, Peng Lee, who also qualified for the Olympics in 2012.
You know, being retired and out of the community, but being a part of a new one was very touching.
Well, at each event, that growing community makes sure to honor the people they're handstand walking for. And at that final event of the year on Friday, the gymnasts even took time to make a video for a young girl named Sienna who's currently battling cancer. They wanted to let her know, you've got this.
So guys, they actually hit that $1 million mark earlier this year, and those proceeds go to research at the Cancer Center where Eloise was treated, Memorial Sloan Kettering.
That's your Good Morning America First Look. Have a great day.